Coming up on The Sporting Chef.
Welcome to the show. I'm Scott Leysath, the Sporting Chef, and today I have a fully loaded Camp Chef flat top grill. And I've got Chris Logan, Stacy Harris, Melissa Bachman, Cee Dub, and Buddy goes hog wild.
What do you get when you find the best fish and game chefs? Cookbook authors, award winners, fishmongers, outdoor experts, and put them on the fastest half hour on outdoor television. Hosted by one of America's best known wild game chefs, Scott Leysath, the Sporting Chef. Brought to you by Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors.
Today I'm going teppanyaki style, like Benihana. You know when you go into the place and you've got the big flat top grill and you've got a guy that throws shrimp into his hat and makes flaming towers of onions? Well, I'm not going to do any of those kind of things, but I am going to cook quickly on the flat top grill. I've got some pretty cool recipes today. I've got venison loin that I'm going to slice thinly, and that's going to be a quick stir fry with some peppers and onions and sauce. And then I have these beautiful little wild boar tenderloins. This is going to be part of my wild boar fried rice. I also have catfish with cashews, snow peas, and it's going to be just a little bit spicy, and some vegetables, stir-fried vegetables. First, let me get started by slicing up my venison loin here. And this is going to be sliced very, very thinly, and it's going to cook very quickly. Cutting across the grain. The same loin here, if you butterfly it like this, make a very simple cut, and you flop it open. You can put all sorts of stuffing in there, roll it up, tie it. I love doing stuffed back straps. Over here on the wild boar tenderloin, I want to get rid of this silver skin. So I'm just going to take my knife, remove the silver skin. The white silvery part has got to go. It doesn't taste good. All right, so for my boar fried rice, I'm just going to chop this up, and then I will dice it up. And while I'm dicing my wild boar tenderloin, I want you to check out Chef Chris Logan, who has an exceptional salmon recipe.
Salmon is one of those versatile fish that you can grill, you can bake, you can saute, you can steam, you can poach, anything you can think about. You can eat it raw. I'm all about creating flavors that kind of blend. I don't have a preconceived idea, but I have an idea what's going to work with something like this. Basically, always a hot pan. The reason for a hot pan, you want the cooking to start as soon as that flesh hits it. I use a neutral oil. I always season my fish. My preference is sea salt. I use a Hawaiian sea salt, cracked black pepper. Right now, neutral oil, hot pan. I'm going to turn this up a little bit. As I told you before, I like my preference to skin on. Because I seasoned one side, I'm going to season the other side. And the way that I like to cook my fish is usually medium rare, max medium. For the hot pan, again, what you want to do is you want to sear it to push all those natural flavors to the opposite side. I've got some local heirloom tomatoes. These are coming from, actually, from Vista here in California. We've got some Gilroy garlic. I just sliced that and added a little bit of a neutral oil. For this was a light olive oil. I've got some capers. I like the way that capers and tomatoes kind of come together. And because I cut it on a bias, we've got that great plate presentation, that coverage to the tomato caper and garlic. I'm adding opal basil. Opal basil is a little bit different flavor, a little bit moister than green basil. Last thing that I'm going to finish this with is a little lemon vinaigrette. This is something that I make. All it is just lemon zest, lemon juice, a little kosher salt, a little white pepper, and a little sugar, neutral oil. I'm using sunflower oil. This also makes for great TV. Gonna come around, right on top. Quick, easy. wild-caught king salmon.
So you know, Chris is a great chef. I just wish he had a little bit more energy. I'm going to finish slicing up this venison loin here. I want you to understand that if you don't have venison loin or a wild boar tenderloin in your freezer, any of the recipes that we do here on the Sporting Chef Show work great with domestic meats. If I do pheasant, you can do chicken. If you don't happen to have a chucker in the freezer, chicken works fine, domestic turkey works fine. These recipes would be absolutely fine with domestic pork or beef. I would love to do this with some, even some venison flank or even some beef flank would be great here. It's going to go very, very quickly. The meat's ready. I'm going to start getting the vegetables ready, but I want you to check out this tip on how to keep your spices lasting longer. You know, they don't get better with age. Now, if you look in your pantry, you'll probably see some spices that you bought sometime maybe back in the Reagan administration. Spices do not have an indefinite shelf life. You know, I've got some ground allspice here. I've got cream of tartar. I'm not going to use this very often. So what I do is I'll go into the spice cabinet, and if you pack them in a food saver bag so that they're airtight and put them in your freezer or your refrigerator, if by some chance there's a recipe that calls for some exotic ingredient from somewhere that doesn't really matter, you can open up the freezer, take out your food saver bag, and get a 1/4 teaspoon of that, and then seal this back up, and it's gonna last a lot longer. More to come with Stacy, Melissa, Cee Dub, John, and Buddy. Welcome back to the Sporting Chef. I'm Scott Leysath. Today I have my Camp Chef flat top grill. I've got venison, and I'm going to do a venison stir fry. I've got a boar fried rice, catfish, vegetables. We're going teppanyaki style, which literally means cooking on a hot cast iron grill. I've got a little oil on here. This is going to be for the venison stir fry. Those are, of course, onions and peppers. Over on this side, I'm going to get the rice started. Onions and carrots, and in just a couple of minutes, I'll take the onions and carrots, add a little bit of soy sauce to it, mix it in with the rice. In the meantime, I'm going to put a little low sodium soy sauce on there just to help brown it up. Same thing over here. The really important part of cooking this style when you're doing the fast, hot style, whether it's wok cooking or cooking on this flat top grill, is you want to make sure that you have all your ingredients ready. If all of a sudden I have to stop and start chopping carrots, then in the meantime, whatever's over here is going to get overcooked. So have all your ingredients on deck. All right, so I've got my diced wild boar tenderloin. Let me put a little bit of oil on that. And I'm going to season it with some High Mountain garlic pepper. Then I'm going to throw the venison on, and the venison's going to cook very, very quickly. And now, here is a close personal friend, Stacy Harris. Not only do I love the way she cooks, but I love the way she says oil.
Today I'm making a duck hoagie with cucumber carrot slaw. I'm going to be confit the duck, and that's easy. Don't get, crazy thinking I can't do that. Confit is really just a French word for cooking a protein like duck at a very low temperature in fat. You can use duck fat to cook the duck, but today I'm going to be using olive oil. It's very important to brine duck before you cook it. And then you're just going to do a dry rub that I have here. The dry rub really is an easy dry rub. It consists of salt, pepper, cayenne, and cinnamon and brown sugar. I'm just going to mix this all up together, and I'm going to rub it on both sides of my duck. Then I'm going to just lay it in here in my dish. Okay, I'm going to put my rosemary in here, and sometimes I like to put it under to give it a little bit more flavor, and just my whole garlic cloves, and then I'm just going to pour oil right on top of it. I'm going to put the tin foil on it and put it into my 225-degree oven. If you've got little duck like a teal, it's only going to take you 3 or 4 hours, but if you have a larger duck like a mallard, it may take 8 hours. I have some duck that I have cooked before, and it is cool, And now I'm going to shred it into my pan and get a little crisp edge on it. Earlier today, I made my cucumber carrot slaw. And the acid really works well with the fat that we have cooked this in. I've heated the duck, I have my slaw, and it's gonna go perfect together in my hoagies. This rustic bread, it's ciabatta bread, and all I'm gonna do is I'm going to just put some of my slaw in the bottom of it. It's gonna be so crunchy next to that warm, fatty, great warm duck. I have made a chipotle mayonnaise. Having this warm duck meat with this wonderful crunchy slaw and chipotle mayonnaise is gonna be so mouth-watering.
You know, cooking that duck confit, the slow cooking like that, really is incredibly, incredibly tender. And I've been busy while y'all have been watching Stacy. What I did here is I have the venison stir fry that I threw onto the griddle, cooked it very, very quickly. I added some soy sauce and some of this. This is a Thai sweet red chili sauce. It was also seasoned with High Mountain venison rub. On the Boar fried rice, again, soy sauce. I actually put a little sesame oil in there also. The carrots, the green onions. It's a whole bunch of flavor, but I had to get this done because over here next up, I've got stir-fried vegetables and catfish, red onion, broccoli, asparagus. And I also have some thin sliced garlic, but I don't want to put that garlic on just yet because if I do, it'll burn. Over here is catfish. This is just your basic catfish. I actually bought this at the store. I didn't catch it. I'm going to use the High Mountain Alaskan salmon seasoning. Great on any kind of fish, not just salmon. That's going to add some flavor to it. And this will be a little bit crunchy on the outside because it's been floured on the outside. Let me go over here. I want to also add some shiitake mushrooms. These are dried shiitake mushrooms that I've been soaking in hot beef broth. That'll also help get those steamed up. All right, catfish on the hot oiled grill. And I've got mushrooms, ginger, and green onions. This is just going to take a few minutes. I want to brown that catfish on the outside, get it nice and crispy. And while that's doing its thing, I want you to check out Melissa Bachman, who has a great tip for you bow hunter types.
For me as a bow hunter, one of the most important things on my bow is the sight I use. And I like to shoot a one-pin sight. Well, not every sight is created equal. I like using the HHA Optimizer Ultra. Now, what a one-pin sight will do is basically allow you to dial in the precise distance that you're going to be making the shot. Now, this can be great because if you have the time to range an animal and it's at 26 yards, well, you simply dial it in right to 26 and you will be dead on. Now, the other good thing is when you sight this in at 20 yards and 60, pick your tape and place it on, well, not only do you get the distance out to 60, but the tape goes to 80 yards. So by shooting 60, well, now you can go all the way back to 80 and you will have a sighted in bow. Now, of course, you need to shoot and practice there, but it's already done all the mathematics for you and your bow sight will be set.
And now here's an affordable and simple way to keep a sharp edge on that knife in your pocket. Before heading out to the woods, you'll need to put a sharp edge on your pocket knife. Work Sharp sharpeners simplify the process of putting a razor sharp edge on any blade. Pop on the Outdoor Knife Guide. Place the blade in the guide firmly against the outside edge of the guide slot. Insert the blade all the way to the finger guard. Squeeze the power switch and pull the knife straight and steady through the guide. Do the same thing with the other side of the guide, and it only takes 3 to 5 strokes per side to get your pocket knife factory sharp.
My Camp Chef griddle has more work to do, and Cee Dub, John, and Buddy have something they'd like to show you. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Sporting Chef, Scott Leysath, Camp Chef Flat Top Grill. To my vegetables, I'm going to add a little hoisin sauce. And when you buy hoisin sauce in the market, pay close attention to the sodium content. This has 540 milligrams of sodium. A lot of them have twice the sodium, and they're super, super salty. Speaking of super, super salty, here's Cee Dub with chips and salsa.
Okay, chips and salsa, one of those things that's almost a universal appetizer. And when you're hunting, fishing, camping, packing, chips like this are tough to pack. They're gonna turn into dust. Using my tortillas for bread, I can make chips out of them, so we've got a little oil heating up here. So we're gonna just take and cut our tortillas into wedges, and we're going to fry those up. We're going to put one in just to see what our oil's like, but we should be pretty close. There it goes. We don't want to put a lot of them in, clump them up. Those turn brown. We're going to just flip them over with our tongs. Our chips are done. They're cooling a little bit, so we're going to take a few minutes here and make our quick garden salsa. And this is, to me, salsa is like stew or pizza. You can put anything in here you want. And so we're gonna just do things right fresh out of the garden. We've got some tomatoes, some green pepper, purple onion. The first green pepper was the jalapeno. That was regular green pepper. We've chopped up some zucchini. We have a little bit of yellow squash. We're going to add some cilantro that's chopped up. Want to add some salt and pepper. We don't need this whole ear, but we're going to peel the shucks off. Cut about 2 nice widths off our corn. And we're going to use the juice off a couple of limes. So there we go, Scott. Chips and salsa in the back country, made fresh, both of them. You're ready for dinner after the guys have this.
Thanks, Cee Dub. Over here on the vegetables, I have some hoisin sauce. Now I've got apricot preserves. That's going to be sweet. I have rice vinegar for sour. These are going to be sweet and sour vegetables. I can now add my sliced garlic, thinly sliced garlic. I don't want to burn it. I'll give just another little splash of the low sodium soy sauce. And over here, to go with my catfish, I've got snow peas, shredded carrots, pickled ginger and garlic, and cashews. And now, John McGannon has a different kind of map, but then John's a little bit different anyway. Right, John?
Okay, so one of the biggest problems that people have is identifying what pieces of meat are appropriately cooked with the cooking technology. So what I have on my Wild Eats website is what I call the Hunter's Meat Map, and that will identify every muscle group in the anatomy of a big game animal and what are the appropriate cooking techniques. You know, if you have in your freezer a roast, labeled roast, you really don't know if it's a top round, top sirloin, a bottom round, or an eye round, and really figuring out what the exact cooking techniques would best apply for those tough cuts versus the tender cuts. So Hunter's Meat Map, wildeats.com, will answer all your questions.
John is a close personal friend. I love what he does. I highly respect what he does in the kitchen. He's incredible with fish and game. This is just some yellow mustard. There's lemon juice, a little bit of soy sauce, and some garlic. And that's going to be flavor for this catfish dish. And now watch as Buddy goes hog wild. You'll see.
We got these pigs. We're gonna go and show you a fast way of cleaning them next. Here we go. Let's see what we can do with it. You want to wear rubber gloves because there's a bunch of diseases you can get. You don't have to be real accurate with your cuts. You're just trying to get this hide off of here. Gotta take it off in strips. Whenever you get up here at the front part, especially on those boars, you got that shield and that hide gets, I've seen it up to 3 inches thick. Well, I got them 2 front shoulders off of it. So now we're gonna pull the back strap all the way to the neck. Whenever you do it this way, you're actually boning out that neck too. Get that over there. I wouldn't worry about that rib meat and that little bit of scraps that's left on there. You want to cook this wild pork thoroughly, Wear glasses, because there could be splatter at times. You don't want any of that in your eye either. This is my helpful hint for today. We'll see y'all next time on another adventure.
And now, the close of the Sporting Chef TV show with a pile of food right here. Not only do I have the stir-fried venison, I've got the Boar fried rice. These are the vegetables with the beautiful shiitake mushrooms. I put a little sriracha on top of the catfish. If you don't have a bunch of game at home, all of these recipes work great with whatever you have in the refrigerator, whatever looks on sale and tastes good. I'm Scott Leysath, the Sporting Chef, and I could not have done the show today without Chris Logan, Stacy Harris, Melissa Bachman, Cee Dub, John McGannon, and Buddy. I sincerely appreciate you watching the show, and I want you to check out sportingchef.com for more information on these recipes, all the people on the show. We've got videos, we've got tips. I hope to see you next week.